Okay, this is CS1400 final review. Spring of 2000 or fall of 2017. I'm going to go through every question as quickly but as thoroughly as I can in hopes that this helps you guys in your study for the final. I would highly recommend that you either do the entire review yourself and then come back and watch this video, or like right now, go do number one and then come back and watch the number one, and then go and do number two, push pause, go do number two, come back, watch number two, that kind of thing. Obviously, if you just watch me and listen to me go through the whole review, you might learn some, but you're not going to learn near as much as if you did it yourself first. So, having said that, let's just get started. So, number one says, what is the output of the following code? We got mystery, we got ABC, we're doing a bunch of things. Let's just check it out. So if A is equal to B, we're going to return C. If A is less than B and less than C, we're going to return A. If B is less than C, we're going to return B, and otherwise we're going to return C. So we're going to return C if nothing else is true. So we got passed in 4, -8, and 6. So obviously, one of those values is going to be the answer. Let's see which one it is. So is A equal to B? No, A is not equal to B. Is A less than B? And so let's just check that. So is A less than B? A is not less than B. Okay, so we can skip this one altogether because there's an and here. If there was an or there, then we would need to check this one as well. But since it's an and, we can skip down to this one. So is B less than C? Is B less than C? B is less than C. So -8 is the answer to that first question. Okay, so then let's run through the second one. 12, 14, and 18. If A is equal to B, they're not equal to each other. If A is less than B, A is less than B, and A is less than C, A is less than C. So this line will get run on that second call and return A, and A is 12. So the answers are -8 and 12 for number one. All right, number two. We have mystery 2, nums, m equals the length of nums, integer division 2. Okay, so let's just look at nums here. We are a list of numbers. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 items in there. 5 divided by 2 will yield 2. So this will all get replaced by a 2. So m will be equal to 2 because 2 goes into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 2 times. And then z equals nums sub 2. So 0, 1, 2 is 19. And return z, so 19 is the answer for number 2. Okay, what is the output of the following code? Mystery 3. A, B, and char. So we got A, B, and then a question mark. So for J in range B, okay, so here's B. So we're going to loop and do these things 3 times, because that's what for J in range B will do. It'll do whatever B is. It'll do that 3 times, and J will be 0, then 1, then 2. For I in range A, so this will do it twice. So we're doing all of this 3 times, and then inside of each one of those times, we're going to do this 2 times because A is 2. So we're printing char, which is the question mark. And then we are having this, for those of you who are not familiar with this end quotations, empty quotes here, this just says that the ending character of the print statement is nothing. Print, by default, if you didn't have this end equals quotes and the comma there, if you had all that I have highlighted, if you had that taken out, each one of these would be printed on its own line, because print will automatically insert a new line character after whatever you're printing. But if you pass it this second parameter, end, and then give it nothing as its value, then it won't print a new line each time. So this is going to print char, whatever char is, which is a question mark, 2 times. So it's going to be question mark, and then it's going to have, then it'll have a new line character, and it'll do question mark, and then a new line character, and then question mark, and then a new line character. So the answer to that Let's see if I can figure this out. I figured it out last time. Is this it? No, that's not it. I want a text box. So it would have question mark, enter, question mark, enter, question mark, question mark. That would be, and then another enter actually. That would be the answer to number 3. Okay. Number 4, what is the output of the following code? See the user input below. Okay, so we got mystery 4, total equals 0, ans equals int. So we're casting as an int whatever they input. And then we're saying while answer is not a 0, we're going to do these 2 lines of code here. As long as answer is not 0, we're going to do those lines. And then we're going to turn total. So the first thing they do is, in fact, I'm just looking at it real quick, they don't enter a 0 until we get all the way down here. So we're going to do whatever's inside that while loop 3 times with the 4 and 8 and a 3. So first ans will be a 4, total equals ans plus itself, so 0 plus 4 is 4. So at that moment in time, we're 4 that first time through, and then we're getting input from the user again. They say 8, we come back and we do this line of code again. Okay, so now that I've looked through it a little bit, I know that I am just going to keep adding whatever they input to total up until they enter a 0. So 4 plus 8 plus 3 is 15, and the answer is 15. Okay, 15 will be the value that total has when it gets returned. That should be enough of an explanation for you guys. Answer gets set initially right here, right? And then we go, and then we check answer against 0. As long as it's not 0, we're going to do this line of code, these 2 lines of code, these 2 lines of code. But this is the only line of code that's actually doing anything to, we're adding to total here on this line, and then we're just asking the user for ans again. So this will get run once. This will get run 3 times in our case, here, here, and here. And as soon as they enter a 0, it'll come back up here, it'll say it's 0, and so it'll break out of this while loop and it'll return total. Total at that moment will be whatever they entered all added up. So 4 plus 8 plus 3 is 15. Okay. Number 5, what is the output of the following code? We got mystery 5, we got name and letter. First we're setting n to be an empty string, and then we're for charring in names, we're grabbing each character in that word, in that string. We are then saying if the char is not equal to whatever the letter gets passed in, we are concatenating onto n whatever char is. Okay, so we got starfighter, we have R. So if you look at this enough, you should be able to tell that we are just making a duplicate, a copy of whatever name is, omitting whatever this letter is. Okay, so in the case of starfighter, we're going to return STAFIGHTE. Everything except for the R's, because we're passing in an R. For Millennium Falcon, we're going to return everything that's in this string minus the L. So it'll be MIENNIUM space FACON will be the answer for number 5. Okay, so it helps to take a look at the function, realize what it's doing in general, and then it makes it a lot easier. If I were to come down here and just plug these in at very first and then go through it, it might have taken me a little bit longer. Look and see what the function is doing first, just in general, and then it makes it easier to answer the questions. What is the output of the following code? All right, so I guess maybe I should do this real quick. So let's, just to be clear, make sure there's no confusion. The answers for this are that and so there are the 2 answers for number 5. Okay. The answer to that first call is starfighter. The answer to the second one is Millennium Falcon. Okay. All right, what is the output of the following code? Mystery 6, passing in an S. We are taking S, and we were taking chunks of it, and we were adding them together, okay? So all you got to do is find out what this chunk is, what this chunk is, and what this chunk is, and we're going to add or concatenate those parts of the string together. I'm assuming it's a string. Yes, it's a string, okay? So this first part is going to grab from the start of the string up to the second index. Okay, so let's grab a text field. And so we're going to grab the first character and go up to, let's see, 0, 1, okay, not C. So 0, 1, here's the index 2 right here. So we're going to grab these two characters, and that's what that chunk will be. Okay, so we're adding that plus whatever 3, so 0, 1, 2, 3, up to the length of S minus 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 minus 1 is 5. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're going up to this one. So we're grabbing DE. This chunk is DE. And then here we're grabbing the entire thing, but we're stepping every 2. So we'll start here. We'll go A, step, C, step, E. A, C, E. Okay, so if I take those out, that should be my answer. A, B, D, E, A, C, E. Okay, there's the answer for the first one. Second one, since they're the exact same length, I can just reproduce it. So it'd be UV, and then XY, and then UWY would be the answer for that one. So, sorry, UV, XY, UWY. Okay, so there are the two answers for the answer for each call on number 6. Okay, all right, number 7. Output the following code, mystery 7, A and B. If A is greater than or equal to 8, or B is greater than or equal to 8, then we jump in here. Otherwise, we return 0 if A is less than or equal to 2, or B is less than or equal to 2. Otherwise, else, okay, we're going to return 1. So let's come back there and look at 8. So we got A is 8 and B is 3. So is 8 greater than or equal to 8? It is. Okay. Since this is an OR and this part is true, we don't even care about that. I don't even care about it. So we know we're going to jump in here. So on this first call, 8 and 3, we are going to jump in here and run this code. So we're either going to be returning 0 or we're going to be returning 2. Let's find out. So is A less than or equal to 2? No, it's not. Since it's an OR, we got to check this side as well. Is B less than or equal to 2? No, it's not. So I am going to return 2 on this first call. So the first call, the answer for this first call is 2. Okay, so now let's do 1 and 7, or 1 and 2. 1 and 2. So is 1 greater than 8? No, it's not. Is 2 greater than? No, it's not. Okay, so I'm going to skip this whole part. So now I'm going to jump down to this if. Is 2 less than or equal to 2? Yes, let's see. No, sorry, 1. My bad. Did I say that first part right? I hope I did. Anyway, at any rate, we're down to this part, okay? So A is 1. Is 1 less than or equal to 2? No, it's not. Or B less than, okay, so it is. B is less than or equal to 2. So we're going to return 0 for this one. So again, the answers for these two calls are 2 and 0. The answer for this call is 2. Wait, did I do that right? Yeah, I did. Sorry, I had to check it. how to look at my code. Okay, so the answer to this one is 2, and the answer to this one is 0. Okay, class number 7. Number 8, what is the output of the following code? We got mystery 8 nums. Okay, we're setting total to be 0. For I in range, length of nums, if I mod 2 is 1. So what does that tell you? This is asking if I is odd, right? Because if it's divisible by 2 and has a remainder of 1, it's an odd number. So if I is odd, we're going to add I to total. So what's interesting here is we don't even care about these values in here. Hopefully you guys see that. Nowhere in here are we referencing nums sub I. It's all just the index, okay? So the indexes are 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Of which ones of those are odd? 1, 2, 3, 5, right? So 1, 3, and 5 are odd. Those are the odd indices here. So 1 plus 3 plus 5 is 9. So the answer to this first call is 9. Now, let's check this one out now. So we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Even though this has one more item in it, it doesn't have another odd. So the answer for the second call is also 9. So 9 and 9 are the answers for number 8. Again, we are adding the index, right? The value, the integer value of the index to total. If this said num sub I right here, if it said num sub I instead of I, then you'd be adding up the values inside of here. But because it says I, you are only adding up the indices, okay? So 9 is the answer to both of those calls. All right, number 9, what is the output of the following code? We got mystery 9, A, B, and C. And a bunch of if checks, okay? So let's just look at the numbers here. So we got 6, 9, and 6. If A, B, and 6, 6, 9, and 6. So is A greater than B? Is A greater than B? No, it is not. Since this is an AND, I'm going to skip this whole if check. Okay, I'm going to jump back down. I'm going to jump down to this elif. Is A greater than B? It's still asking the same thing, but we got an OR here now, so we know this part's not true, but let's check this other part. B mod 2 is 0, so is B an even number? B is not an even number. Okay, so now we jump back down to this if. Is A equal to B? No, it's not. 6 is not equal to 9. Since it's an AND, I don't even care about the rest of this part. So I know I'm going to return what's inside of this else right here. So what's B mod A? Okay, B mod A, 6 divided by, or 9 divided by 6, it leaves a remainder of 3. So this is 3. 3 plus C, 3 plus 6, okay, is 9. So the answer to this first one, answer to this first call is 9. All right, 7, 12, and 10. Is 7 greater than 10? No, 12, sorry. No, it's not. Is 7, no, it's not. But is B an even number? It is. Okay, so we're going to run this line of code. Return B plus A. So B plus A is 19, and 19 is the answer to this second call. 3, 3, and 2. Greater than? No. Greater than? No. But is B an even number? No, it's not. Are they the same? Yes, they are. But and is A an odd number? A is an odd number, so we're going to run this line of code. This is what we're going to be returning. B times A is 9. 3 times 3 is 9. Minus 6, or minus 2, sorry. Minus 2 is 7. So the answer to this call is 7. Okay? Remember order of operations here. PEMDAS always do multiplication before addition or subtraction. All right, what is the output of the following code? We're setting count to 0, and we say for item in queue. For ch in item, if ch equals, so I'm assuming q is a string and ch is the character. So if the character is an E, we're adding 1 to our count. All right, that's easy. So I'm just going to go through all of these strings and I'm going to count up the E's. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 is the answer to that call. Now I'm doing the same thing here. How many E's? 1, 2, so 2. So 2 is the answer to that call. Okay? If anyone's confused on this one, it's probably because we have these nested for loops, but it shouldn't confuse you. I teach my students for part in whole. So for part in whole, since the whole is a list, the part, this item, the first time through is going to be blue, this string. And then we're going to say for in item, for part in whole again. Item this time, or the whole this time is a string, so the part is each character, or each character in that string, and it's convenient that they have ch as the variable name here, so that it kind of makes sense. And then you're just checking to see if that character is an E. If it is, then you increment your counter. Okay. All right, that's number 10. Number 11, what is the output of the following code? Mystery 11, A and B. We got S equals B. Okay, so I'm setting S up to be whatever B is. And then we're saying for I in range 6. So we're going to do this 6 times, and then we're going to return S. So we got 5 and 42. 5 and 42. So S is going to be 42. And then 6 times we are going to subtract A from S. So A is 5. So basically, what's 5 times 6, 30, subtracted from 42 is 12. So the answer to this one's 12. Hopefully you can see that. We're going to run this line of code 6 times because it says for I in range 6. And you're just going to keep subtracting from S whatever A is. A is 5, and S just gets set to B. You don't even need this really. They could have omitted this and just had B equals B minus A and return B, and then you wouldn't need that line. But it's okay. It's in the review probably to try to confuse you maybe a little bit, but there's nothing wrong with it. We're setting S up as B, whatever B's value is, and then we're subtracting A from it 6 times. Okay? All right, number 12. What is the output of the following code? Mystery 12, nums. I is 0, t is 1, while nums sub I mod 2 is 1. Okay, so while nums sub I is an odd number, we're going to do these 2 lines of code. Okay, so we got 1, 3, 5, 8, 9, and 0 in our list. Okay, so nums sub I the first time through, I is, hopefully you see that I is 0, and then we're incrementing I inside the while loop. So I is just going to keep progressing until num sub I is an odd number. So on this call, nums sub I is an odd number. Sorry, I said that wrong. I didn't mean to. We're going to keep doing whatever's in here while num sub I is an odd number. Okay, not until. My bad. Because of this equals. If it said not equals, then it would be until. But because it's num sub I mod 2 equals 1, so as long as we have odd values, we're going to keep doing whatever this is. And this is timesing t by itself times whatever num sub I is. So t is 1, 1 times 1 is 1, 1 times 3 is 3, 3 times 5 is 15, and then we're going to stop because 8's not odd. Okay, so 15 is going to be the answer to that this call right here. Okay, we're doing this line of code until num sub I, until the value here is even. Sorry, not odd. So odd, 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 even. So odd, odd, odd. Those 3 get run through this line of code, and we're just timesing t by whatever this is, and then reassigning t to be whatever that is. So 1 times 1 is 1. Okay. And then 1 times 3 is 3, so now t has a value of 3. And then 3 times 5 is 15, and then we stop, because we break out of that while loop as soon as we hit a value that's not an odd number. Okay, so the answer to this one, again, was 15. All right, number 13. What is the following output of the following code? See the input below. So here's the input from the user, or from the text file. So we have mystery 13, and we're passing in a file, which is the name of the file. fin, my file input object is, open that file in read mode. Okay, and then I set total to be 0. I say for line and fin. So the line is going to be that 5, and then the 6, and then the 2, and then the 5, and then the 1. Okay, it's going to be in string value because it's a text file. So line is going to be 5, and then a new line character. But then we're going to strip off that new line character right here. So after this line of code, line will just be the text that you see here on the screen. So it'll be 5 in this first case. So now we take that 5 and we cast it as an integer. So num is going to be the numeric value of that string, which is 5. And then we're going to add to total whatever that string is. Okay. So we're just adding up all these values. So 5 plus 6 is 11, plus 2 is 13, plus 5, 18, plus 1 is 19. So the answer for this call is 19. Okay? Afterwards, we just close it and we return whatever total was. Total starts out at 0, and we just add each one as we go. 14, what is the output of the following code? Mystery 14, we're passing in a word, we're setting S to be up an empty string for I in range, length of word. So I is going to be the indices of whatever word is. So in this case it's cheese, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Did I get that right? 0, 1, 2, 3, yeah. Those are the values that I will have. S plus equals word, and then we're slicing from the beginning up to I plus 1. Okay, so hopefully you see I is going to start at 0, 0, and then 1. We're going to go from the start up to whatever it is. So the first time through, it's going to grab that C. And then I is just going to increment each time. So we're going to be C, and then CH. If I didn't do it right. CH, and then CHE, and then CHEE. We're going to keep adding those together as we go. Okay, so let's get a text box over here so I can do this. So this is the answer to this one. It's going to be C, and then CH, and then CHE, and then CHEE, and then CHEES, and then CHEESE. Okay, it's grabbing incrementally larger parts as it goes. First it just grabs a C, and then the next one CH, and then the next one CHE, and then the next one CHEE. Okay, and it's just concatenating onto S, whatever it was, whatever S it currently is, with that new part. So hopefully I did that right. C, CH, CHE, CHEE, CHEES, CHEESE. Okay, so there's the answer for number 14. All right, number 15, what is the output of the following code? Mystery 15, nums. C equals 0. For I in range 1 up to the length of nums, okay? If num sub I is equal to num sub 0, then we're going to do this. Okay, so we're starting at 1. So we're basically saying we're comparing all the values in here. Are you equal to here? 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 It's comparing all these values, and if it is equal, then we're going to run this line of code. So 3 is what we're comparing it to, because that's what num sub 0 is. 3 happens again once, twice. So we're going to run this line of code twice. C is 0, so 0 plus 1 is 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. So the answer to number 15 is 2. Okay? Hopefully everyone gets that. Because I is going to be 1 at first, because we're passing in 1 and the length of nums to range. Because this is the starts with, right? Range, when range has 2 parameters passed, it starts with and up to. We're going to start with 1, and we're going to go up to the length of nums, which is going to give us all of those. We're going to take all of those values, basically, when we say num sub I. Those are the indices we're going to be working with in that for loop. And so we're just comparing whatever the value is with whatever num sub 1. All right, let's start on the long answer portion of the review. Write a function named totalodd that receives one parameter, a list of integers named nums. It should return the sum of all the integers in the list nums. Example, blah, blah, blah. Let's see if I can. I don't think it's going to let me. Yeah, that's not going to work. All right, so let's just take this. Let's pull it into PyCharm. Okay. And give me a second here. Let me make the text bigger so that you guys can see what the heck is going on. Maybe it is here. Yeah. There we go. Okay, so hopefully that makes it so you can see that a little better. So I'm just going to pull the instructions in, and then I'm going to pull the example so that we can do this. And this is what you guys should be doing as well. You guys should be pulling these into your editor and doing them with your editor so that you can test it and make sure it works. You should do it on paper first because that's the format the final is going to be in. But after you do it on paper, you should pull it into an editor and do. Okay, so it says write a function called total odds that receives one parameter, a list of integer named nums. Okay, so there's your signature line. It should return the sum of all odd integers in the list nums. Okay, so let's do this the way that CS1400 should be done. So first, we're just going to have I'm going to set a total a variable called total. I'm going to set it to 0, and then I'm going to loop through all of the numbers inside of nums. Now I don't care where it is in there, so I'm just going to say num in nums. I don't need to use for I in range because I don't care where it is. I don't care about the index. I just care about the value. Total plus equals num, and I'm going to return total. Okay, so if I run this now, I should get 15 if I did it right. Oh, and I must have done it wrong. What did I do wrong? Oh, all odd integers. I'm so sorry. I went way too fast. Okay, so I need an if check right here. So if num, I'm going to type mod 2 equals 1. Okay, now I want to add it into there. So now do I get 15? I do. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Okay, helps if you read the instructions. All right, so there's an answer. There's different ways of doing this, but there's one answer, and probably the primary answer that most of your teachers have been teaching you on how to do this one. Okay, so let's do the next one now. Write a function named sum till 6. Let me just pull this in. So, and I will comment that out so we don't run it anymore. Sum till 6. I'm going to print this. Okay. And I can start writing now. So sum till 6. Okay, it receives one parameter, a list of integers, nums. The function should return the sum of all values in the list which come before the first 6. Is that what that's supposed to say? First. I don't know why that F didn't come. The first 6 in the value. That's kind of weird, huh? The first 6 value in the list. So 5, 3, and 4 yields 12, and that's what the answer is. Okay, so that's what we're working on with here. So we're going to go until we find a 6, and then we're going to add up all those numbers. So I can really just do exactly what I did here, except change things a little bit. Let's do this in a couple different ways. We'll do it with a for loop, and then we'll do it with a while loop. So for num in nums, if num equals a 6, then I'm going to break, which will break out of my for loop. And then right here, I can just say total plus equal num. Okay, so I'm going to break out of the for loop if my number is a 6. Otherwise, I'm just going to add to this total. I could do I could have an else here. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that, but I don't need it because of the break. If this line of code gets hit, it's just going to jump directly down to line 22. It will not execute line 21 again in that iteration because it'll break out of the for loop. So let's make sure I did it right by running it, and I got 12. Okay, so there's one way of doing it with a for loop. You can do it with a while loop as well. So let's see here. Let's set num to be equal to something. Let's see here. I would probably start, if I was doing this with a while loop, I would probably start by saying num is the first item. And then I can say while num does not equal a 6, I'm going to add to total whatever num is. But then I'm going to need to reassign num equals nums sub I. We haven't made I yet, but we need to. I is equal to 1 to start off with, and then I plus equals 1. Okay, so let's follow my code here for a minute. So I have my total that I'm going to be adding to as I go. I set an initial number to be num sub 0. I set my index to have an initial value of 1, and then I add to total as long as num is not 6. So the first time through, num will be whatever is in this position, and then it'll get whatever's next because I set I to be initially up as 1. So then num will be num sub 1, which is 3, and then I increment my counter and I go through and do it again. So if I hit play, I still get 12. Okay, so there's a version with a for loop and a version with a while loop. All right, let's continue here. We're on number 18. All right, let's copy this. Get our instructions in front of us. Why is our indentation all messed up? What's going on? It's weird. And rand param. Nine is what we should be getting. Alright, so def rand param receives two integer parameters, a and b. The function should generate and return a random number between a and b inclusive. Alright, so we need to import random above the function. I don't know why we got an extra space in there. And then we need to just, this is one of those things you just got to remember which random function to use. We just need to return random.randRange. And randRange works just like range does, in that you can pass it different things. It says return a random number between A and B inclusive. So that tells me that it needs to include A and it needs to include B. So we can pass A in, that's fine. But when we pass B, we've got to add 1 to it so that it grabs B as well. Okay, and then a answer for this one would be 9. So a good way to test this one, let's just run it a few times and make sure that we get both 5 and 10. So we just did. In fact, we got 2 10s. Okay, so there's your answer for number 17. All right. Oops. No, sorry, not 17. That was 18. So number 19, copy this, and I must have some special characters in some of these, because I keep getting all this funky text. I wonder why. It must be a PDF thing. First parameter, assume this is what? This file already exists. File already exists and contains several lines of text. Function write to a new file, I'm assuming. Write to a new file indicated by the second parameter. The new, for some reason, the FI doesn't want to be. That's weird, isn't it? I don't know why. Okay. Example, couple file a da da da. Alright, so well, let's go ahead and do this. So let's bring back my side. So I need a new file, a.text. I'm going to copy that stuff in there. And then a b.text. So I need a new file called b.text. And it's got that in there. And then if I did copy, it's going to do whatever we're going to learn how to do here in a minute. So just take that none off. Okay, let's give me a few lines down here so I can not fight with the bottom of that the rest of this time. Okay. So write a function called copy file, def copy file. It receives two string parameters, file name 1 and file name 2. The function should read the file indicated by the first parameter. Assume this file already exists and contains several lines of text. The function should write to a new file. Oh, I jumped ahead of myself. Okay, so this I need to delete so that I don't have a b.text. Okay? Alright, so function should write to the new file indicated by the second parameter. The new file should contain all the lines from the file that was read in the same order and return nothing. See example. So if we look at this, they're identical. Okay, I was going too fast and wasn't even looking. Okay, so I need to open this in read mode and open that in write mode. Okay, so file in equals open file name 1, comma R. F out equals open file name 2, and I want to open it in write mode. Okay. Now I want to loop through the lines for line in fin. I want to f out dot write. Write line. Fin dot close. Faut dot close. Always remember to close your files when you're done. This actually is going to be where things get saved. If you forget that, I don't think it saves it to your file at all when you're doing your writing. And I think that should be it. So let's run this. And it finished. And if I look, I should now have a b.text. And I do. And it looks the same as the A. Okay. Just to make sure, let's change this to c.text. Now I should give it should add a c.text over here. And it does, and it has the same values. Alright? Okay. So there's your answer for number, whatever we're on, 19, I think. Let's put that there. That was number 19. Okay. Number 20. Let me see if there's anything in my notes that I need to go over. Okay, so write a function called drawRect. Let's copy this. Okay. Write a function called drawRect. Def drawRect receives two integer parameters, x and y is what they want us to name them, and one string. I'm going too fast. And s. Okay. The function should print a rectangle of s characters of width x and height y, and return nothing. Okay. So, this one's easy once you understand how to do it. So let's look at the example again. So we got 2, 3, and a hash or a pound, and we're going to print two of them 3 times. So 2, 2, 2. Okay. Whenever you're doing anything like this, you want to do the columns first and then the rows. So I'm going to say for j in range y, and then for I in range x, print s. Okay. Now the only other thing I need to worry about is if I did it like this. I don't know if any of you guys will catch this just right off the top. Let's go ahead and get my function call over here. If I were to run it right now, it's not going to work. I don't know if you guys realize why. Let's run it and see if we can figure it out. So it did what we asked it to do, but it all had a bunch of end line or new line characters. So this is what we were talking about before. We got to pass that end parameter and give it an empty string so that it does not do that. But now if I do that, it'll print no new lines. They'll all be the same. So what I got to do is just add a print right here, and then I'm golden. Okay. So now I get 2, 2, and 2, just like it wants. But you got to start with y if you're printing out, because you're doing the columns first, right? So for each how should I say this? This is going to happen in the interim of this, right? Inside of this one. So I want to do this twice, and then step down, and then do this twice, and then step down. Okay. So I'm printing the row and then stepping down, printing a row, stepping down, printing a row, stepping down. I hope that makes sense. Okay. All right. So there is was that number 20? Number 20. All right. So let's look at number 21. So we got write a function named both odd. Okay, let's get our call. We got 3 of them. And I want to print each one. Okay, so both odd. Okay, I've write a function named both odd that receives 2 integer parameters, a and b. The function should return true if both parameters are odd and false otherwise. All right, let's do this the long way, and then I'll show you the short way if you care. So if a mod 2 equals 1, right? That means it's odd if both are true. So and b mod 2 equals 1, I want to return true, else return false, right? Return true if both parameters are odd. Okay, so if I ran this, I should get true, true, false, and I do. Okay. Couple things to note. So this is an absolutely perfect answer. You'll get full credit on the final if you just give this much of an answer. But because of this return, there's a couple things we could do. Because of that return, we don't need that else. That'll give us the same answers. And anytime you're saying, if all of this is true, return true, you should be thinking to yourself, well, that's silly, because you're saying, if all of this is true, return true. Well, then let's just return all of this then. If all of this resolves to be true, and then we return true, we should just be returning that. So we can just return that, and then we don't need any of that. Okay, we can reduce that all to one line, and then we're good. Okay, now if that confuses you or gives you a headache, then just go back to this and you're good. Okay, if a mod 2 is, if this a is odd and b is odd, return true, otherwise return false. Okay, absolutely nothing wrong with that solution, but I thought I'd go over those other two things just in case it was interesting to you. Okay, number 22, write a function called blah blah blah. And I got two calls. Come on, PyCharm, get out of my way. Okay, def, we are counting as is the name of our function, receives one string parameter, word. The function should count and then return the number of occurrences of A or Z in the string. Alright, so let's go down here and make sure we understand the problem. So the answer is 6. So it sounds like I count all the A's and Z's. So if there's 6 A's and Z's in here, then I understand it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so in that string there are 4 Z's and 2 A's. Okay, so let's just go through it now. So I need a count equals 0. Set that up first, and then I need a for char in word. I don't need for I in range because I don't care where they are. I just care about their values. So for char in word, if char equals Z or char equals A. Oops, I forgot to put a quotes around this guy. Then I want to increment my counter. And then I return count. Alright, let's see if I got it right. 6 and 3 I did. Okay, so if char is Z or char is A, then I'm going to increment my counter. Again, I'm going to go over another way to do this just for fun. If you don't want to look, then don't look. Another way of doing this is you can say if char in AZ. Okay, that's going to say this in operator on an if statement is really powerful. It's saying, is this character that I'm looking at inside of this string? So if it's an A or a Z, this statement's going to be true, and then I can increment my counter. Okay. All right, but this way is absolutely just fine. There's nothing wrong with that at all. All right, let's comment those out, and let's do the next one. So 23, write a function named edges. Da, 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 da. So let's copy this over. Man, there's something wrong with those FI. Something strange. Okay, and we got one example call. Print. And this should return that. Okay. Alright, so let's get started. So def edges contains one string parameter, word. The function should return a new string that contains the first 3 characters from the string word, followed by the last 2 characters from the string word. Hint, use string slicing and string concatenation. So it should return a new string that contains the first 3 characters. So let's use that part first. So let's create a variable called first 3 chars, and it's going to be word. Oops. We're going to slice, right? and it's going to be the first three. So from 0 up to the third index, which will be 0, 1, and 2. So that'll be three letters right there. That'll be the first three characters, followed by the last two characters. Last two chars equals word, and we're going to slice from -2 up into the end. Okay, I'll go over another way here in a second. Okay, so mooks, M-O-O-K-S. All right, so now all we got to do is return first three characters plus last two characters. Let's see if I get it right. And I did, mooks. Okay. If your teachers have not taught you this part, that's fine. The length of word -2. Do I do 3? I always have to count this kind of stuff. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. The length is 11. 11 minus 2 is 9. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's just run it and see if I'm right. Okay. So length of word -2 up until the end. Okay. Again, the slice operator behaves just like the range and rand range and everything else. If you pass it two things, we're passing two things here. Passing the starts with and then the up to. The up to, when you leave it empty, it just defaults to go through the end of the string or whatever you're doing. Okay, so there's the answer for edges. All right, let's do number 24. We're almost done. Okay, def concat. Write a function named concat that receives no parameters. The function should continue asking the user to enter a letter until the user enters Q. The function should then return a string which contains all the letters entered by the user, not including the Q. See example output below. So let's look at the example. So HI exclamation Q, and it gives us that. So I want to copy this part, so I'm going to need that here in a minute. Okay, so you're going to want a while loop on this, right? Because you don't know how many times they're going to enter anything besides a Q, right? They could go on for years and years entering thousands and thousands of queries and not enter a Q, and you just keep going. So you use a while loop when you don't know how many times you need to do something, and this is one of those times. I'm just going to use while true in this case, and we'll go over a different way to do that afterwards. I'm also going to need something to dump my stuff into, so I'm going to say stir equals empty string. I'm not going to use that. My stir equals empty string. I don't want to use stir because stir is a built-in operator in Python. And then inside of here, I'm going to say ants equals input, and then I want to copy what I grabbed off of the PDF. So answer equals enter, and equals input, enter a letter. So this is going to ask the user to enter a letter. At this point, I'm going to say if ants equals Q, okay, then I want to break. If they don't break, then I'm going to add my ants to my stir, and then finally I want to return my stir. So if I enter HI exclamation Q, I should get high. Let's see if I do. So enter a letter H I exclamation and then a Q, and it worked. Okay, so there's one version of concat, but let's look at another version. Not really a different version, but a different way of using while. If your teacher hasn't explained to you what this does, while true is just going to continue looping forever and ever and ever. And the only way it's going to stop is if you manually break out of it. So while true is dangerous in that way because all whiles are dangerous, but this one's dangerous because you have to remember to break or you're going to have an endless loop. Okay, so if my answer is Q, then I break. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep doing this till the end of time. That's a while true. The other way of doing it is basically grabbing their first input and then checking it. So while ants is not equal to a Q, then I want to do whatever's inside of here, and the only thing I need inside of there is that. Okay. So now if I run it and I do the same thing, H, oops, what did I do wrong? Look at that. Nice, Craig. You guys didn't catch me. You were supposed to scream through the monitor. So I need to also remember to grab my next answer, my next letter, or else I'm just going to loop forever. Okay, so let's do it again. H, I, exclamation, Q, and I'm done. Okay. Yep, I want to return it, not print it, so there is your answer for number 24. Yeah, okay, good. I'm going to say something else about it, but I don't think I need to. All right, let's do number 25. Copy. And I don't need the none, so let's just grab this part. Print. Def. Okay. Write a function named repeat. It receives two parameters, a string name and an integer n. The function should print the string name exactly n times, once per line, and return nothing. On each line after the name, the function should also print the line number starting at 1. See example. Okay, so Alphonse 1, Alphonse 2, Alphonse 3, Alphonse 4, and so forth. Okay, so it's going to be printing those. So I don't need them to print here. Okay, so I just need to do a for I in range n, and then that's going to do it n number of times, and then I'm going to print name. Let's just do that much for now. If I did that, I'm going to get my Alphonse, my 5 times, right? But I need to have Alphonse space 1, Alphonse space 2, Alphonse space 3, and so forth. So I need to add a space, okay, and then also add I plus 1, because I inherently starts at 0. So if I did that, oh, and why didn't it work? Because I'm too lazy and I'm used to using format. Because I did not cast my integer as a string, okay? So now we have Alphonse 1, Alphonse 2, Alphonse 3, Alphonse 4. Now, you can get away with not having a plus 1 there if you're smart, and you say, I want to range from n to n plus 1. Now, you can make arguments for either way, but you can do both of those two ways, okay? If I pass 1 and then n plus 1, then I is automatically going to be the values I want, because I'm starting at 1, and I'm going up to n plus 1. If I didn't have that 1, if I didn't have the plus 1 there, then I would just go 1, 2, 3, 4. I wouldn't have that 5, okay? But because I'm starting at 1, then I want n to be whatever n is plus 1, because range usually starts at 0. So either one of those is fine. For my students that have been learning the dot format syntax, there's a method called dot format. So you just type out the string you want. So Alphonse 1 is what I'm trying to print, right? Now I just replace the things that I want to replace with squigglies, and I can put the whatever's in the first the first parameter that's passed will go there, the second parameter that's passed will go there, dot format, and then I want to have name and I. Okay, and then it automatically does the string casting for you, so you don't have to worry about that. Alright, so there's the two versions of that. I think most of the other teachers are not teaching dot format, so let's just stick with this being our official answer for this one. Okay. All right, there are all 25 problems on the final review. I hope that helps. It's always, I hope I didn't lose anybody with the explanations of all those. It's hard to not lose people because, you know, I'm not going to be clear to everyone. I tried to be as clear as I could. Good luck on the final, guys.